Hi there, this is Nathan, and I'm going to talk about a little bit about this book that I'm reading, Love Without End, Jesus Speaks by Glenda Green. And I'm also going to talk a little bit about 2012, the whole December 21st business, the end of the world and stuff like that. That'll be like roughly what we're going to talk about on this wonderful day 4 of my 30-day challenge. It's a Monday, so we took the weekend off, or I took the weekend off from this. And I've been reading this book, Love Without End, for a long time now. Not a long time, but I'm about halfway through it. And it seems like I've had these thoughts that have been rolling through my head for a long time, and then I've found several other books that are sort of in that same vein or that same category. But this book, Love Without End, has really kind of been very harmonious with the way that I've been thinking. It's like it uses like very similar terminology in a way that makes sense for me, and it's something that I don't see in a lot of other places, like where a lot of other books seem very either occult or new agey. This book seems very like down to earth and practical, or down to earth and common sense in its way of thinking. So the book is it's kind of like a conversation between Glenda, who's the author, and Jesus, who she's channeling. And so it's an exceptional read, so definitely go out and get it. But I don't want to talk too much about the book itself, but it's well worth the read, I believe. What I'd really like to talk about is the December 21st, 2012 business, the end of the world. And I don't think the world's gonna end. Like a lot of people think, stuff's gonna, like a meteor's gonna hit, or Planet X is gonna flip over the poles and we'll have like tidal waves destroying, everything. I'm not in that same category of all hell's gonna break loose or anything. I think it's more of a time of transitioning than a time of chaos and fear. I think there's gonna be some chaos and fear, but I think that's more due to people's fears. The law of attraction will bring them the chaos that they are creating, but I don't think it's necessarily what's applicable to everybody, or what should be applicable to everybody. So I'm going to read a little bit here, and then I'll go back and discuss it. The book of Revelations is a great deal more than a book of prophecy. It is the timeless revelation about the soul's fulfillment of a divine plan, along with the perilous demise of all that is false, as negative possibilities fall away in the light of truth. This book is not subject to the normal pitfalls of prophecy, because it does not center its meanings on the temporal probabilities of life, nor is it that the intent of its message. This sacred document has been greatly misunderstood to be an unfolding drama of external events, essentially political in nature. Certainly a profound transmutation of the human soul would be impossible without correlations and manifestations within outer forms of reality. Therefore, some physical phenomena will accompany the drama, especially considering that the very elements that fall to dust will be the structures of worldly dominance. This book foretells the point of a critical mass when humankind must confront its destiny. Mankind cannot claim full estate with the Father until all that was created through unconsciousness and disconnection is first released. False identities, false meanings, and unworthy structures will fall away as the soul is empowered to manifest its true covenant. This is a glorious event to be approached in love rather than fear, and as hearts prepare for it, external consequences will be modified as well. What is to unfold is crucial and inevitable to the destiny of man. No one is exempt. However, there is a choice in how one receives the unfoldment. Those who approach it with love will find it the ultimate bridge to fulfillment. So, like this is kind of like a nice phrase or passage. If you actually own the book, it's found on page 213 and 214 of the book that I own. And so what I really think is going to happen is that it's a period of transitioning where we are transitioning from the past, which is a world of unconsciousness, or lower consciousness, if you want to call it that, and we're evolving towards a level of higher consciousness, or more unity consciousness, or more love-based thinking, stuff like that. Thinking in a way that more closely approaches God's way of thinking, if you want to think of it like that. Like we're gonna be more in tune with each other and ourselves because we're all one. And like another book that talks a lot about it is, let me see if I have it for a second. Is this book, The Ancient Secret of the Flower of Life, volumes 1 and 2. Like this is volume 1, but I have volume 2 as well. By, I'm probably going to butcher his name, Drunvalo Melchizedek. And he talks about like the same sort of thing. And you also hear about it in like the terms of like the yugas and things like that. But like he talks about it in terms of more of a galactic, where we are situated in this, the universe with respect to all the other the bodies that radiate, energy towards us. And so he talks about how we go through this like circular or elliptical path, and how for like half the path we are going away from everything, and as a result we end up dropping levels of consciousness, and then as we get closer we get we elevate ourselves in consciousness. And I really find it hard to think that we're gonna have like a judgment day of reckoning style, end of the world, because I try to think as someone, or if I were to think of it like if I'm God and I love all the creatures of creation that I have created unconditionally, does it really make sense just to like cut them off, stop their learning, and sentence them to a whole bunch of pain and misery or anything? And I think clearly that is not the situation. I think it's more along the lines of this is a time where we've got to we're privileged to experience the darkness that being away from the source has had to offer us, and then we get to experience the transition of coming back towards the light. So we're at like a very interesting point. And I think that the 2012 time period is one where collectively we are all beginning to hit the critical threshold, you know, as a group consciousness, where we are more heading towards, you know, we've hit the critical mass of heading towards the light, you know, like enough people have woken up and are stopped acting in an unconscious manner and are starting to act in a more conscious manner. I think there was another chapter or passage I was thinking of reading for you guys. And this passage is a parable that Jesus is telling Glenda, and I think it kind of discusses, like, you know, what should we be doing at this period of time, because it seems like there's so little that we can do, but clearly that's not the case. You know, it's like, it seems like the world is so big right now, but at the same time we're really at a point where we're coming into our own. Okay, I mean, this is what I think we're going to be seeing in the near future, and it's a parable about a boat going through a series of locks like the Panama Canal. Upon entering the first lock, you will see only the high walls surrounding and containing the water. Accepting this is essential to confronting the limitations you are currently experiencing. It is a matter of faith to confront one's sense of lack and restricted vision, knowing that when the water level rises, there will be a miraculous change of circumstance. As the gate opens and your ship is ushered into the next lock, the power of greater wholeness will reveal itself. Then, unfolding before you, there will be a new set of high walls obstructing your vision beyond that level of attainment. Again, faith and consciousness will be required to bring the water level up to the newly desired plane. Through every lock, the process will be the same. Then suddenly, one day, the last gate will open and reveal the ocean's magnificent horizon. There will be the new earth, the dream come true. Until then, it would be well to remember, as with the parable of the canal, that no matter what your attainment level, you must have the faith to examine your life and ask, how can I make the most of what I have? Begin with simple possibilities, such as making friends with a new neighbor, forgiving your brother, or paying a debt. Remove thorns from your side, such as finding someone else to mow the lawn. Perhaps some remedial help is needed for a child having study difficulty. At times, a second job can be useful, or possibly a vacation is needed even more. Wholeness is not invoked by the search for one-shot solutions. The search for specialized answers to complex situations yields very little benefit. A never-ending pursuit of greater wholeness is the answer to ascending the levels of your life. So, I mean, that's that parable, and that's just a couple pages later on 2:16 and 2:17. And what I look at it, or the way I look at the things, is that as we move forward and trying to create like a better life for ourselves and a better world for, you know, everybody, is that we need to strip away the portions of structure, or, you know, the areas of, you know, things that humans have created, you know, conceptually or abstract concepts. We need to strip away the ones that don't work, you know, and then take conscious control of creating structures where we are conscious participators in, like, you know, we're not creating them out of unconscious thoughts anymore, but we are all conscious participators in this, and building the new world in a conscious manner that, you know, makes us happy and that we love. So thanks a lot. Have a great one.